stop what you're doing and listen to this podcast that we're doing right now. I don't think that's how I started it last time. Welcome to Stop It with Zach Peterson. I am your host, Zach Peterson. This is a podcast that's chaotic, and we have a bunch of questions that I don't know what we're going to ask. Today's guest is from Tiny House and Platypus, Megan Malone.
Hi.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. I want to give you 2 minutes to plug the bar stuff and then the stand-up comedy stuff that you do.
Perfect. Okay, so 2 minutes. So yeah, Tiny House Bar. We have two bars on South 13th Street. It's in a historic district of Omaha, and there are 200-year-old houses right next door to each other. Right. We are like trans and queer-friendly spaces, and we do a lot of fun events. One thing we have coming up is a really great comedy show that I'll also be performing at, but the main guest is Adam Caton Holland.
That's right.
Who is a great national touring comic. They're also making a movie about his life right now, or his act, I think, that is directed by Mark Duplass, one of my favorite horror directors.
I did not know that. That's exciting.
And David Duchovny's in it.
Whoa.
And I don't know if David Duchovny plays him, but I am spreading that rumor. So
yeah, I could see it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so there's still tickets available to that 9:30 show. And I feel like you normally see Adam in a much larger venue. So that is exciting. I'm excited about that. I also will be doing a couple of Don't Tells in Des Moines, Iowa, which is like a fun pop-up comedy show. And that is on February 14th, the day for lovers. So if you are looking for a date to impress your friend, and this is a regional show that you hear in Des Moines, I'll be doing that.
Well, I want to put it on the internet, and the internet's national.
It is.
Yeah. I mean,
that's great.
You can't see it most places anymore. I think they're going to shut it down next week.
Really? I think the internet's going to be popular.
You think so?
I think people are going to like it. We also do a show the last Saturday of every month called Laughter Hours at the Backline Comedy Club, which is local and regional touring comics. So I feel like that is most of the stand-up stuff. And then the last Thursday of every month, obviously, we do Broken Magic comedy stand-up at Tiny House. So we are getting names from both coasts. People love the show, and it's affordable, and everyone really needs a laugh right now. So I feel like it's a great way to come see local artists and blow off some steam.
Wonderful. That was great. Is that the 2 minutes done or good enough? Okay. Because that was a lot of information. And normally people aren't as good at that. They're just like, I don't know. I was like, okay, well, neither do I. So let's start with the questions.
Okay, great.
Okay. These questions are generated by the bucket. They're completely and totally random. We've used bucket technology, AI, a bucket in intelligence, to to make these questions. And we move on to the next question when I say stop it. Hence the name of the show.
Stop it.
Stop it was this is going good. All right.
I agree.
All right. First question is, think we would have gotten along in high school?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I think we might have had a weird literature class together.
That's true.
And I think that we also hate a lot of things.
Were you in honors?
Yes.
Okay, we wouldn't have been in there because I didn't go most of the time. I was not a good student.
Really? You were?
Yeah.
See, I was sort of rule following in that way.
Really? I mostly just smoked cigarettes.
Really?
That was what I majored in.
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes. That's the only thing that mattered in high school.
God, congratulations.
It got me far.
I'm really impressed by people who can break the rules like that because I was, too rule following.
What'd you do? And like, what you mostly just went to high school when you were in high school?
I did. Well,
yeah,
I did mostly just go to high school.
We would have gotten along still. I was there. I mean, I was there physically. I wasn't there mentally.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of different friends groups. I was like friends with a bunch of nerds, and then I was in 3 sports years rounds, and I was also very artsy. And then I also low-key hated everyone in my high school. So I hung out with mostly people who didn't go to my high school in my off time.
Okay. What sports did you play?
Soccer, volleyball, and basketball.
Okay. Stop it.
Okay.
That's enough.
All right.
I don't know what else to talk about with high school. Good. Yeah, I was asleep. You know, that's not a good student.
He's a rebel.
You got a favorite pen?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can never keep them because I habitually lose them, but they're like a ballpoint pen. I don't want it to be fancy, but I want them to be the ones that are like really slippy ink.
Slippy ink.
Do you know what I mean? They're
No, but I like it. I like the imagination.
Yeah, I don't know that you call them the ballpoint pens. I just got 2 from Walgreens the other day. They're like black, and they like if you drag your hand through it, they're going to ruin the page.
Sure. Is this a Pilot G2?
Something like that.
Okay.
But they're not clicky.
Okay.
I feel like the Pilot is clicky.
It is a
so
Pilot.
These
is
are the
clicky.
ones that you pull the cap off, and then they're just black ink in there. And I prefer to write on a legal pad that has no binding.
Yeah.
And I also don't like to write on the back of pages.
Yeah. I don't like when pens are clicky. They stick with their friend group when they should really get more. The pen cap, I always lose those red. Also, it's like I didn't get into pens or like the the textile feeling of pens and writing until I got into comedy. Now it's very important to me. Like my pen budget like is putting me in the poorhouse because I need like nice pens.
Oh wow. What is the pen that you prefer?
I like the G2, and there's also this other one that I don't know the name of, but it's like it is a fine point.
Okay.
And normally I like the YG2. That's just like it just shoots a gallon of ink the whole time.
Yeah, I like a loose scrawl personally.
Okay, stop it. I think that's enough pen talk, right? Okay, thank you, producer Jocelyn. What's the most pizza you ever eaten?
I think I've gotten definitely a whole pizza down.
Yeah?
Yeah, and
what kind of pizza? There's variations of pizzas.
So I'm recently on a health kick, and so I would like to eat a whole cauliflower pizza, and that is like nothing. But that's nothing. It's cauliflower.
Okay, let's go with the standard pizza, the Pizza Hut.
Okay.
You know, because I think the Pizza Hut is on the pizza scale of good versus bad, good being negative and good being positive and bad being negative. Pizza Hut's at a 0. You know, it's neutral pizza. Like in that terms of size, how much of a Pizza Hut pizza do you think on a day that you're famished you could go for?
So I'm going to say it has 8 pieces in that. I would easily eat 4. Binge a 5th to 6, 4 to 6,
Sure.
and then
that's easy. I can do
like
that. Yeah.
watch like a 45 minutes to an hour of TV, and then eat the remaining 2 slices over the night.
Right. Those last like epilogue pieces.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Yes. I mean, 1 piece might survive till the morning, but like easily, I feel like in a night that could be like an evening's activity. Like we're gonna eat this pizza.
Yeah.
And
It's
never 2.
No, I've never eaten 2 pizzas. I've eaten a whole Sbarro pizza. Yeah, that was
The squares?
no the big mall pizza.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a teenager. I had to get energy for
Something
smoking
to wash
cigarettes.
those cigarettes down.
Yeah, yeah, smoking cigarettes and eating pizza. That's why my brain's not working. You know what I mean? It's
Full of pepperoni and cigs.
There's a pepperoni stuck in the middle. It's gumming up the works. The brain juice isn't flowing. Stop it. Moving to the next one.
Okay.
All right. What news story are you still thinking about, but the world has moved on from?
Oh.
Is it about how much pizza I've eaten? Because that's a news story the world hasn't gotten enough of, in my opinion.
I'm still thinking about the orcas.
The orcas destroying the billionaires' boats?
Yeah, I feel like, it was a little flash in the pan. We've sort of forgotten about them because there are more pressing issues.
Right.
But I did notice that there was a story, okay? And it appeared to be that the orcas were teaching the dolphins something, okay?
Yeah.
There was like hundreds of dolphins that had appeared around the orcas.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's a coalition, an inner-sea coalition being built. I'm okay that we don't know anything about it. I would like to see what they're up to next, but only I want to see the results. I don't want to thwart their plans. I don't want to spy on them. I don't want us to send in like a missile that's shaped like a seal to figure them out in advance.
Right. Yeah.
And so, maybe it's still in the forefront of people's minds. I don't know, but it's something that I think is fascinating. And there's obviously more pressing issues right now, but I still do think about our orca friends and how they're just smashing yachts, and God, I love them.
Yeah, I'm gonna. My conspiracy brain really thinks there's something going on in the ocean that we don't know about, like interplanetary stuff possible. Because I don't know if you saw the congressional hearing of the aliens underwater, and then there's literally like octopus don't share DNA with anything else in the world. It's the only animal that does that. And now like the whales and the dolphins, we know they're smart.
Sure,
but how smart? Are they going to tell us the truth? I'd like to hear directly from a dolphin, but I don't know how. But I'd love to hear it.
I did hear read an article that they had used AI to have like a half-hour conversation with a whale. That they think that they can use AI language systems to have direct conversations with the whales. I mean, the ocean. The slow leak of the alien stuff has been really interesting. It seems like they're throwing something in the air all the time. I mean, there was the orbs that were behind the drones. That has definitely disappeared, and I would like to bring that.
I'd like to know about that.
Right? Because there is military operations that have proposed projecting holograms into the sky to terrify populations that were invading or attacking, to like make them think the aliens were invading.
Whoa.
So you can look it up. It's like it's not called Project Hologram. I think it's called Project Beam, BEAM.
Okay.
And so then when like these drones were chasing what appeared to be holograms and people were like, oh my God, are aliens here to save us? I was like, is this a psyop on a psyop inside of a psyop?
I don't know what is reality anymore. We don't know.
Hard to say.
What if like we've already given the oceans to the aliens? Like you can have the oceans, we'll go on top every once in a while, we just like go through with the ships and whatever, but you can have the bottom. You can have all of it, which is most of the earth.
There's a lot going on down there.
So if the aliens came in here, we were just like, yeah, you can have the water. That's most of the earth.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, cool. And then so they don't do whatever aliens do. I think it's plausible. Is it possible? I don't know.
Abyss is one of my favorite movies. I hope that they're down there, that they're doing good stuff. Maybe they're the ones that are training the whales.
Stop it. We're getting too close to the truth.
All right. Fair.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot. Yeah. We touched on it pretty well. Remember the Rock and Jock B-Ball Jam on MTV?
I don't.
You don't? What they did is they got a collection of jocks, which are professional basketball players,
sure,
and rockers, which are people from celebrity culture, essentially. You're going to have the Dan Cortez from MTV Sports. You're going to have the Vanilla Ices of the world. This is late 90s, early 2000s.
It's stirring a vague memory now that you're saying it.
They also had the Rock and Jock softball jam, and then there was also like a ball that was worth like 20 runs, and the b-ball jam, there was another basket above the basket that was worth 50 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like the skee ball, basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Cortez would always go for that, but he can't get it.
No.
So did the Schlecklenberg model. These were not great celebrities. These were yeah. You don't remember that?
I mean, it is like conjuring up a vague image of Vanilla Ice and long white jersey pants, and or like shorts, and I don't know if now you've implanted that in my brain or it's real.
Megan, you can just tell me no.
I might be conflating it with jock jams, which were very popular in my house. I know that I do have an infinite amount of shitty TV stuff in my brain, but that might have squirted it out.
That's granted. Stop it. I'm not going to implant late 90s memories, so now you have to deal with it. Wouldn't be fair. If you have a pal coming to Omaha, what are you going to show him? You going to show him around? What are you going to show him?
I've tried to and failed to persuade a lot of people to go down to the river with me.
Okay.
I have a secret river walk, and I feel safe showing people out of town this because they can't come back and pollute my walk, which is uninhabited Missouri riverfront and very beautiful. But Surprisingly, most people are not intrigued. They don't want to see what's going on down there. And then I try to take them to one of our various culinary delights. I feel like we
Right.
have really good food here and really dedicated food and beverage scene. So I like to go to Dirty Birds. I also like to go to like Momo Dumplings
Okay.
or a place like that. Maybe there's Tis Teco, which is a Mexican place right by Tiny House that I like. They have like really good homemade Mexican food, and then they also have a really good deal on fresh pressed juices.
Nice. That's underrated. I love a fresh pressed juice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like a fresh pressed juice at a white place, a white lady place is like
Sure.
$17.
That's
and
right.
This
That's
lady
right.
is cold pressing these juices, and it's like $8.99 for 12 ounces.
Right.
It's great.
Right. Some place called like, like energy, like whole energy or something like that. It's like it's going to be $25.
Right. Or it's
know.
like the fig and mousse, and you're
Yeah.
like, just, okay, a turmeric latte, and it's $25.
Right. I don't need that much guava.
No.
Chill out. You recommend the zoo to people, or are you done with the zoo?
I find zoos to be extremely depressing, and I don't want to go there. And so I will if you like to go, please do go on your own. And I know that people like they do great conservation. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I look at it like a leopard in a cage, and they're like normal hunting radius 50 miles, and it's like I'm sure this log
Sure.
is comparable.
Well, you can't. Yeah, I mean that's just going to be how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. What do I do?
Yeah.
Old market.
Okay.
Mostly because I can go to all the junk shops. And
Yeah,
just wander
there's-
around.
that's true.
Because and vintage clothing. That's my kind of stuff. I will do a zoo, but yeah, I understand. If someone's not in the zoo, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't share the same feeling, but I understand how that would be.
Sure.
I'm not exactly the most emotionally connected human being. So other people are like, okay, yeah. You have emotions, like normal emotions. Gotcha. I understand that. I think that's usually about it. Like, I'm a Dundee person. So like the Dundee places like Good Looking or Lola's,
Yeah.
Alamo Draft House. It's not unique to Omaha. I just want to go. I use friendship to go to the places I want to go to that I feel bad about going alone all the time.
Well, and I will go days without speaking to another person or
Right.
leaving my house, or unless it's for chores, like work-related chores. And so it is not, I'll be like, oh, I've been wanting to go to this restaurant or this place. So it's an excuse to both talk to humans and enjoy the human experience.
Right. And also, I put that question in there. No, the bucket made it because I want to know because I'm running out of ideas.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm just going to go wander by the river. I'm sure nothing bad would happen.
the new like riverfront development they did, I find quite nice too.
It is very cool. I was one of those people that was like, I don't think they should do that. Because I was like, I don't like how I like the old stuff. Don't change anything.
You're right.
And now they did it. I'm like, all right, it was good.
They did a really good job.
It was really nice. Yeah, it's really cool. And then you see like, it's one of those things where you see people existing in front of each other and like it feels like community.
Yeah.
When the last place didn't feel like that. So I was like, okay, touche.
Yeah. You got me. City planners.
All right, stop it. Moving on. Who knows? Round no one's nothing. Never mind. No, do that. Can I run a joke by you?
Sure.
Okay, I don't have a joke. Man, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this. Okay, here's a joke I've been working on. I'm a boring guy, like I'll huff gas, but I'll only huff regular. Is that a good joke?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I like it. Stop it. Moving on.
Okay.
I wasn't thrilled about that poll.
Okay.
Okay. Do you believe in Slender Man?
Yes.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. Explain.
I find it creepy, and I did also enjoy the memes of Barron, where Barron Trump is very tall,
Yeah.
and so they elongated his figure to make him look like Slender Man, and they saying, "I like my suitcase,"
Oh yeah.
going into the White House, and it reminded me of how much I do like Slender Man mythology,
Right.
and I loved like the old conspiracy videos where they like compiled like scary skinny shadows coming out of places. I thought those were very good. Really scary real thing happened where those girls tried to stab their friend
That's
to
right.
death.
Yeah, to summon the Slender Man.
Which, you know, sort of harkens back to my youth, which I was very traumatized by Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
I found that to be very scary. And to me,
Right.
that was sort of like Slender Man really did come to life in the sense of a very brutal, almost murder. So I have chosen to believe that, you know, it's kind of like you can... You know, the ladies like to talk about manifesting. This is like a dark manifestation that they brought into the real world.
I've heard that like if enough people believe something will exist, that's one of the cryptid workarounds with something not existing. It's like, it can if we believe it enough. You know, sort of like Tinkerbell. If we like clap or laugh or what, I forget. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. But I would like to think a Slender Man exists. I mean, although I'm not as like up on Slender Man as because he's not a dream guy. He's not like the Hat Man. No,
I don't think so.
Okay, he's just where does he live?
I don't know. Well, I don't know, but I think that if you kill someone, you get closer to where you can go to like Slender Man Village.
Slender Man Village?
I don't.
All right, is that a suburb?
I don't know. I haven't killed anyone yet, Zach, so
Okay.
I don't get to go. But I think that it was a creepypasta, like off of Reddit.
That's right.
Like someone wrote a very good short, scary story and convinced a bunch of people that this shit was fucking real.
Slender Man Village, a small town in the city.
And I think, you know, like you have a bit about this. I think that it's one of these conspiracy theories. It's not fun, but
Right.
you know, it makes life a little bit more spooky. And I like a spooky tale.
Yeah, it's a thin man.
He's a thin, tall man who, like, I think preys on children and
Right.
like preteens,
Right.
and basically threatens to harm their family unless they kill someone. But then if
Okay.
they kill someone, they get to go to hit their magical land, and Slender Man will give them additional things, I think, powers and stuff, and then also protect their family from the harm it was going to.
So Slender Man's like a killer Professor X, where he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, if you're a killer, I'll take you to my cottage and I'll give you powers."
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
All right, stop it. Moving on. What is
Also,
this?
Baron Trump could be Slender Man, just putting it out there.
Why not?
Yeah.
What can't you forgive?
I think like basically people who are like willfully ignorant in the face of like something that they could have spoken out about.
Sure. Just like Wilfrig. Okay.
Like willful people who opt out, choose to say nothing when speaking out would be risky and but also potentially very impactful.
Sounds like cowardice.
Yeah, I guess cowardice is that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't forgive cowardice and you can't forgive complacency.
Yep.
I think that's a reasonable thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you value integrity, you value
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
Okay. Reasonable.
Yeah, I think like a good society, I'm concerned about society is like you protect the vulnerable. Like I think a measure of a good society is like you protect the minorities, you protect the people who can't protect themselves, and I think that it's if everyone just kind of speaks up, then it doesn't put it on one or two people to really risk it all.
Right.
So I believe in like power in numbers and like
When you create the cultural normalcy of saying that this is unacceptable, it's understood that this is bad, and if you do this, that you are bad or maybe outcast, then that's a healthy culture. Where there are standards. I feel like that the internet sort of we are able to see who we are more clearly, and a lot of people weren't up to snuff. But instead of actually changing who we are, we just decide to lower the bar, of what a good person is, because it's too much work to actually like think and reflect about how we can improve.
True. I mean, and also I think so many people's morality is tethered to like a religious book. And so when those tethers come off, you know, whether it's like you grow out of it or you didn't really believe in that all the way, they don't really know what else to tether their morality to. And they're like, people sort of mistook like understanding other perspectives with like a total relativism, right?
Right.
Like nothing matters, right? So there is no truth. And I disagree. I think the more perspectives you encounter, the closer you get to a truth, right?
I think that's true. And I think that the fact that people were like, you know, given this reality that fits in a simple box, and then when you open up the complete world with the internet, where you have the ability to see so many perspectives, and then it definitely doesn't fit in that little box anymore. So all they're trying to do is just close the box.
Correct.
You know, like no, all the rest is BS. Like my small box is that, and yeah, I mean that's a very difficult thing to do, and I don't think it's a responsible way to go through reality, and it must be difficult. You know, either it's all difficult. You know, so I don't know.
Hard to say. I don't know. My dad used to always tell me that, like, you know, character is who you are when nobody's watching.
Right.
And I think that that's true, right? Like, you know, if you do the right thing when they're just because that's who you are as a person. But I would also say, like, as a corollary, like character is who you are when times are hard. Like it's easy to be a good person when like times are easy and society is free, but like when times are hard and it's a difficult thing to speak out for, like example, trans people. Like I think it's very unfair to expect trans people to defend their own rights alone right now.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it would be put upon those who have the ability and the ability to speak and the ability to have people listen. To do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, reasonable. Yeah, no disagreement here. So stop it and move on to the next one. Stop. Hey, stop it. Are you the person that you wanted to be growing up?
I think so.
That was very non-committal, I think so.
I think I'm getting there. I don't think
Sure.
I'm done growing up yet, but I would watch. I will say this. I know in the sense that I was obsessed with like watching ice skating and gymnastics because I was so envious of their single-mindedness. Their commitment to a purpose. Like they were just like, I'm going to be an ice skater and I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to practice 12 hours a day to be an ice skater.
Right.
And I had just like a more jack of all trades approach to life. I was in multiple things and had multiple interests. And I feel like even though I'm happy with the person that I am today, I feel a little bit scattered in the sense where it's like, you know, I do interior design and I do comedy and I run a business and I don't feel like that's a brag because, you know, at times I would really like to just get, you know, hyper focused on one thing and just excel at that. And so maybe, you know, young me knew I would just be like a fuck around.
Well, I mean, you know what they call that a Renaissance person, right? I mean, that's
a nice way to look at it.
Right, right. Because because I feel like what you're saying is that you feel as though you are a jack of all trades, a master of none. Right. That's sort of thing. But I mean, I think that specialization where the singular focus is like, that can be detrimental to a human being.
True.
Like I've read books about football. All right, I'll be the first to admit it. But they talk about how there's football players. So when they leave the league and they stop being football players, they have no idea who they are anymore. Where there's like people say, what do I eat? How do I I don't know what I like to eat, and they're 30 years old. You know, so that's because they've put their entire person into this focus of being a football player and being a well-rounded individual. You may not be able to make it into the NFL, I guess is what I'm saying. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I did always want to be, and I was fascinated by the arts community. I spent hours while my sisters were like, let's go to the pool. And I would go down in the basement and watch Comedy Central. And I was like fascinated by these women who were doing comedy. But then I would go out into Omaha, where you grew up here as well. And it was like really hard to find the culture. I think that's one thing about Omaha is like you kind of have to know where to look. And there's definitely like wells of culture that run pretty deep once you know where to find it. But it was just so long before I found an avenue where it was like, oh, there's women actually doing this. So I think that, you know, the things that I could imagine for myself as a child have definitely changed.
Right. And I think it's sort of unrealistic to expect people to know exactly what they want to do right away. Like I'm 18 years old. I've sorted it out. Like
Right.
I had to go to college, like, and like, what do we want to do? It's like, I don't know. Like, I still don't know. I'm just doing whatever I want to do the day of. And it's got in me the same place I started. So I have no idea, but I don't know if it's fair to be like 18 years old, decide what you want to do the rest of your life. And then you become an accountant and you're like, well, I suppose that's what I am, and there's the Jungian idea of, of you're supposed to be this certain person, and all pain and, mental anguish come from not being that person.
Right.
So, I mean, how do you find out what subconsciously you are supposed to be? Like, can you do that? Is that a possibility? I mean, can we take a class?
I don't know. I did recently buy that book, The Artist's Way, and I'm trying to like do those, like, which I like did anyway. Like I write every morning, and like that one's just like, basically it's like shit out your subconscious every morning, and then like you get past your limiting beliefs to like a place where you can actually be creative or access that like unfiltered creative part of yourself.
Right.
So I think maybe like if you kind of push past your certain like the first part of yourself that's really worried about what you're writing down through an exercise like that, you can get closer. I don't know.
No, that makes sense. I mean, but also the human mind is beyond my grasp.
Yeah, it's a rat fuck maze.
My sentiments exactly. All right, stop it. Moving on to something. Maybe this one will be about Nintendo.
Ew, it's
All
for
right.
breakfast now.
All right. If you could live in any other country, where would you live?
I've been thinking about this a lot. So I feel like there's a good argument to be made for Croatia and Albania.
Okay.
They are the other side of the Italian Riviera. So they're mountainous. They're on the sea. I'm a big fan. I'm greedy. And so I would like to be around the oceans and the mountains. I'm not like a beach gal, but I do love the mountains.
Yeah.
And so I like the idea of being around in a place where I can't understand most of the other people because, again, I'm antisocial.
Right.
And in this fantasy, I also am making a bunch of money from like digital art prints that I make or something like that.
That's what's happening in Croatia. They're digital art crazy.
Crazy about it. So yeah, you just go there, and I feel like that would be quite stunning. And then I could go through Eastern Europe, which I think would be fun. Otherwise, I could get interested in being somewhere like Japan, just because I'm convinced they're living in 2050.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just seem way more civilized.
They have a collectivist culture more
Yeah.
so than our individualized culture, which is attractive to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that'd be something. At least I think that. I don't know if I know that.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to
Romanticize it.
yeah, and then like you get there and you're like, well, where the hell are all the Burger Kings? You know, like where's the stuff that I want? And so I don't know.
Where do you have a place?
Jeez. I'm thinking Scandinavia somewhere. Like I've read this book called The Geography of Bliss about like the happiest places in the world. And one was, they talk all about Scandinavia because Scandinavia has raised the floor of standard of living for everyone, which means you have the ability to fail and try new things because there's that social safety net of if it's like, well, I screwed up, well, I still have a place to stay and things to eat, and I can still try. I can try again, and they give me that ability, which I think is very nice and very helpful, and I think that's the way it should be. But also, those countries don't really want a lot of people
They really don't.
to come in because of that, because they have that social safety net, and also they expect you to learn the language. And what I've learned about myself going through school is that I can't learn another language. Like I can't learn Spanish. I've tried French, Spanish, Latin. I'm just bad at it.
Well, have you tried living in another place and trying to learn it though?
I live in Chicago. No, I haven't.
See, and that's the thing is that my problem with people when they say they're bad at learning language,
Yeah.
like you weren't bad at learning English. I would say you're very good at English.
Yeah. Well, I feel like my brain is too old because I feel like when you're like, when you're in the formative stages of life, you have the ability to to really grasp onto ideas. And your brain is sort of at its best when it's freshest, being younger. And I just feel like mine has gotten all the information it's willing to.
It's maybe. I mean, it might take longer, but I would just suggest that the way you learn language is not being like, Zach, what's the past participle of ran?
Right,
You know?
right.
And you'd be like, I mean, if you did that to me in English, I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason Americans know what a pronoun is because we want to oppress trans people.
Sure.
You know, otherwise, 10 years ago, I don't think you could have picked them out.
Yeah.
And so I think the way we teach language is tough. But if you were dropped into Scandinavia, then you'd have a lady being like, correcting you gently, and you'd be looking at context clues, and you could pick it up quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the feeling is all based off of the idea of how dismissive I am at IKEA. I'm not saying that word. I don't know that.
It is a lot of vowels in a row, or consonants. And
it just seems difficult. Yeah. Okay, stop it.
All right.
Well, next one. Oh, what do we got? Remember renting movies?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have fond memories of going to the old Blockbuster, the old Hollywood Video?
I do. I like the idea of that. That was like a cool Friday night activity. You could maybe rent 2 to 3 movies.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure to return them on time in my family also, but that was the Friday night. We never bought the candy there. We were strictly there for the movies. I feel like we spent an excessive time looking. It was very rarely that we knew exactly what we were going for, but it was lots of time reading the box and looking at the pictures, and half the time you didn't know what you were getting into.
Yeah. I mean, because there was a lack of information and the lack of sort of word of mouth, and people were a little bit more isolated, I feel like maybe this is a good movie. I haven't heard of it. That's a possibility. And now I feel like if there's something good, I probably have heard about it in some way because I'm in that sort of that oeuvre enough to know that, oh, this is supposed to be good. This is supposed to be bad. And then I was just like, I have no idea what anything is. And so I have to learn the back of the box. Look, Ebert gave it a thumbs up. Ebert's not going to steer me wrong, And there's a lot of pressure because that was your Friday night, and you want to get it wrong.
Right.
If you got it wrong, then you just had a bad Friday night.
Or if there was a new release, and you remember there was would be one shelf that was all the new, and you'd be like, you got there too late on the Friday night, and all of the new release that you were waiting to see was gone, and you'd go to the freshly returned and see if it was there. No.
Right. No Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Right. And then the late fees, I could bankrupt you. I still owe Hollywood Video $400. I don't know. That's why they went bankrupt. That's why they're not around anymore, because I didn't return SLC Punk.
Oh God. Yeah. Their business model had some issues, but I wonder. I don't know. Do you think that you could bring a nostalgia VHS place back? I know that I've seen them in Atlanta when I lived there. There's places like that, but I just don't know that people. I don't think that there's that market. I think that that's dead.
Yeah, I would like to think that there's enough like-minded individuals, because I feel like you have to have a real artistic community for people. I'm so offbeat. I love reel to reel, but I don't think we have. I think there's probably 25, 30 people. And you would have to charge $300 for each videotape rented to stay in business. It's. I don't think it'd be. I think it'd be untenable. I think that you could do something like Planet the Tapes in Louisville, where it's a VCR themed bar and comedy club that rented movies as well.
Yeah. So it's a secondary income stream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's around, but it's not how they're going to make their money.
Were you allowed to get the candy?
Well, no. I mean, it wasn't a loud thing. A lot of time it was my own money, so I was like, "Am I going to buy the candy?" It's I'm not going to spend $8 on this packet of Red Vines when I can go to
the gas station on the way home.
Exactly. And a lot of the time, since I was within walking distance of 3 video stores growing up, I'd use my own money, and I'd just go my own way. And
That's nice.
Yeah. And Also, I watched a lot of things I shouldn't have watched growing up because all you had to do was call my mom, and I had to tell her that it was a true story because I could rent anything if it was a true story.
Wow.
Yeah, because I need to know what reality is, right? That was the whole thing. And so I read a lot of things that were, very graphic, but true. You know? It's like, that's good.
Like Real Sex 77. It's a documentary,
Right.
Mom.
Yeah. Here's a documentary about heroin addiction. Well, okay. Good luck in high school. You know? Yeah. All that good stuff. All right.
Those were good times.
It was a different experience. Movies were more important. I feel like they weren't as disposable.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I feel like now it's just like Netflix. I'll look, we put something that'll be on my phone the whole time. It's like, who cares? I'll watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a type of movie that's being written so you can scroll through it,
Right.
because that's not that compelling. And then there was a genre of movie that was like action movie, Marvel movie that was written intentionally with minimal dialogue so it could be translated into many languages because they were making their bag abroad.
Yeah.
And so then a lot of the good writers moved to TV, and then TV became really good. And so I think there's some small houses that are writing good films now, but they're just so
Right.
few and far between that it's...
Yeah, it really feels like peaks and valleys, but most of it's valleys.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop it. Moving on.
Okay.
Hey, I'm clogging this bucket. Help me. Let me out. I can't believe I'm caught this bucket.
I don't know what that was about. What's the dumbest thing you've Googled? This is the last question, by the way.
Oh, God. There's so many.
Well, it's only one. We only have time for one.
Let's see, because I don't know the answer because it was just something very dumb that I was like...
I don't know.
Can we
what that's
pick
about.
again? Can we just... Because
All right, we'll
I feel
move
like this is
on.
our last question.
Okay, well, it's fine. I mean, it was only the most important question I've written. I mean, all right.
The bucket's written.
That's fine. That's fine. I feel bad about this one. All
Okay.
right, I'll tell you why. Because this is, I got to write 600 questions.
Sure.
So, I mean, this is a bit that I have, and you're familiar with it.
Okay.
So it feels unfair.
Okay.
Because you've seen my stand-up, and this is for someone that hasn't.
Sure.
Didn't beef jerky used to be drier?
Correct. And I
Thank
do
you.
absolutely hate putting my hand into that bag.
Yeah.
It is a 0-star experience.
Yep.
And I serve this jerky at my bar, the wet jerky.
Yeah.
And there are drier forms in this line, and we serve the righteous felon jerky. And so I go and specifically get the one that I know is drier. But yeah, it is all wet, slimy.
Yeah. If you make beef jerky, dry it out.
Try it out.
Mr. Jack Link, I would like for you to dry your jerky. I saw the plant. There's a plant right outside of Council Bluffs where they're just pumping in wetness to the jerky.
It's the moist boys
Yeah.
plant.
they're just putting humidifiers and filling it with jerky or something.
Yeah, what do you I don't know what that's about.
I think there's probably some tests be like, this jerky's too difficult to get through. I would like to have beef jerky that is more moist and succulent. Meanwhile, us jerky purists, we're like, I want the old jerky, the jerky that Lewis and Clark had that was drying with salt and gunpowder.
Yeah, it's making me feel like I'm a cow. Like I'm chewing on
Right.
it like I'm a disgusting American. I'm doing this because I can't chew gum.
Yeah.
I'm like on the road or something, and it's just like I just want something to do with my mouth. I
Exactly.
don't want to actually eat something. I want to
Right.
chew something.
That's exactly it. I shouldn't be able to down a whole bag in 10 minutes because I can't.
Yeah.
Right? I should have to take some time, and I should take some effort, and I should get tired. It should be a workout. It's like
Yeah.
I have processed a whole cow.
Doing like something like this
Right.
after you eat the jerky. You're like, I got
Exactly.
to work these knots out of my jawbone.
That's completely right.
Correct. I'm glad we're on the same team, same
Yeah.
jerk team.
That's right. And if you let me know if you think jerky should be drier. All right. Also, if you think it should be washer. Do you have anything? Where can people find you online?
Yes, you can find me. I think I'm most available on Instagram, and that's my name, Megan Malone, but it's 3 G's and 3 L's. So it's Megan Malone. And that's just because there's a famous porn star who has 2 G's and 2 L's, and I wanted one thing more than her.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, I just created the Stop It Pod Instagram and Blue Sky today. So go over there and find Stop It Pod or Stop It Zach Pod. And also, if you want a question in the bucket, you can write a question and email it to stopitZachPod@gmail.com. Write me. I'm tired of writing questions. All right, it's time for you to help me out, stranger. So thank you for listening. You now stop listening to this episode.